The real estate agent looked at the tired sneakers, the faded denim jacket, and the little girl holding the man's hand, then smiled the kind of smile that cuts deeper than words. In the middle of an $8 million mansion with crystal chandeliers glowing overhead, she quietly decided they didn't belong there. Other wealthy buyers walked through the marble halls with confidence, but this single father and his daughter were treated like strangers who had wandered in by mistake. What nobody in that room knew was that within the next hour, the entire mansion would fall silent after the father calmly said 7 unforgettable words. "I'll buy the house. All cash today." Before we begin this emotional story, if you believe kindness matters more than appearances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps spread stories that remind people not to judge others too quickly, and maybe inspire someone who is silently struggling right now. The rain had started early that morning in Chicago, turning the streets gray and cold. Daniel Harper drove slowly through the wealthy neighborhood with both hands gripping the steering wheel of his old pickup truck. Beside him sat his 8-year-old daughter Lily, hugging her backpack tightly while staring out the window at the enormous homes lining the streets. The houses looked like castles compared to the tiny apartment they had lived in for the past 6 years. Daniel noticed the excitement in Lily's eyes every time they passed a garden or a large front porch, and it broke his heart in ways he never admitted aloud. For most people, Daniel looked ordinary. He was 38 years old, wore simple clothes, and carried himself with the quiet exhaustion of someone who had worked too many nights without enough sleep. After losing his wife Emily to cancer 5 years earlier, life had become a constant uphill battle. He worked construction during the day and managed a small repair business at night while raising Lily alone. Many nights he skipped dinner so Lily could have better meals. Many mornings he hid his pain behind tired smiles because he refused to let his daughter see how scared he really was. What nobody knew was that Daniel had spent years building something in silence. After Emily died, he became obsessed with learning about property restoration and investing. Every extra dollar he earned went into buying abandoned homes in rough neighborhoods. While others ignored those broken buildings, Daniel repaired them one by one after work, often staying awake until sunrise painting walls or fixing leaking pipes himself. It took years of sacrifice, but eventually his investments exploded in value as the neighborhoods improved. Quietly, without flashy cars or expensive suits, Daniel became wealthier than anyone imagined. But wealth never changed him. He still drove the same truck because it reminded him of the years Emily sat beside him laughing during long drives across town. He still lived modestly because he feared becoming arrogant. Most importantly, he wanted Lily to grow up understanding humility instead of luxury. That Saturday, Lily had begged him to visit an open house she saw online. It was a massive estate with tall white columns, a grand staircase, and a backyard overlooking a lake. To Lily, it looked like something from a fairy tale. Daniel almost said no at first, but after seeing how excited she was, he finally agreed. As they walked into the mansion, the warmth inside contrasted sharply with the cold rain outside. Expensive perfume floated through the air while soft piano music played from hidden speakers. Wealthy couples wandered from room to room sipping champagne. Daniel immediately noticed the way people glanced at him and Lily before quickly looking away. Then came the real estate agent. Her name was Vanessa Cole, and she wore a sharp red blouse with perfect makeup and a polished smile that barely reached her eyes. She approached Daniel slowly, scanning his clothes and old boots before speaking in a tone coated with fake politeness. She explained that the property was a very exclusive listing, and mentioned several times how expensive the home was, as though Daniel couldn't possibly understand the price himself. Lily held her father's hand tighter as Vanessa continued guiding them towards smaller rooms while spending most of her attention on wealthy clients nearby. Every time Daniel asked a question about the property, Vanessa answered quickly before rushing away again. When Lily innocently said the house was beautiful, Vanessa laughed softly and remarked that homes like this usually attract serious buyers. Daniel felt the sting immediately, but he remained calm. He had experienced this kind of judgment his entire life. What hurt more was seeing Lily's excitement slowly fade into embarrassment. Children notice everything adults think they hide. As they stepped into the enormous living room, Lily stared up at the chandelier sparkling above them like frozen stars. Quietly, she asked her father if rich people were always mean to poor people. The question hit Daniel harder than any insult ever could. For a moment, he couldn't answer. He simply knelt beside his daughter and brushed her hair gently behind her ear. He told her something he had learned through years of struggle: sometimes people confuse money with worth, but true value comes from kindness, not appearances. Nearby, Vanessa overheard part of the conversation and assumed Daniel was giving his daughter a life lesson about dreaming beyond their reach. She smiled sympathetically and casually suggested there were more affordable homes a few miles away that might suit their budget better. Several nearby guests chuckled quietly. Daniel stood still. The room suddenly felt colder. For years, he had tolerated disrespect because survival mattered more than pride. But seeing his daughter humiliated awakened something deeper inside him. Lily deserved to walk through any door in the world without feeling small. Daniel slowly reached into his jacket pocket and removed his phone. Calmly, he made a short call to his financial manager. His voice never rose. His expression never changed. Within minutes, documents were emailed confirming immediate liquid funds far beyond the asking price of the mansion. When Vanessa returned, Daniel looked directly at her and quietly said the words nobody expected. "I'll buy the house. All cash today." The entire room froze. The champagne glasses stopped moving. Conversations died instantly. Vanessa stared at him, waiting for laughter that never came. Daniel then forwarded proof of funds directly to the agency owner standing nearby. Within seconds, the owner's expression transformed from confusion into complete shock. The owner immediately rushed toward Daniel with sudden enthusiasm, apologizing repeatedly while offering private tours and refreshments. Vanessa's face lost all color as realization settled over the room. The man she dismissed as poor had enough money to buy every house on the street if he wanted. But Daniel wasn't smiling. He looked around the mansion one last time before glancing at Lily. His daughter no longer looked embarrassed. She looked confused, emotional, and proud all at once. Then Daniel said something nobody there would ever forget. He explained that he had not worked for years just to become another wealthy person who looked down on others. He said money meant nothing if people forgot how to treat human beings with dignity. He told Vanessa that the deepest poverty in the world was not financial struggle, but the inability to see value in someone unless they appeared rich. The silence became unbearable. Vanessa lowered her eyes, unable to speak. Then Daniel did something even more shocking. He refused to buy the house. Instead, he thanked the owner for the tour, took Lily's hand, and walked toward the exit. Before leaving, he told Lily they would someday find a home filled with warmth, laughter, and kindness, because no beautiful mansion was worth living in if it was built on arrogance. Outside, the rain had stopped. Sunlight broke through the clouds, illuminating the wet streets with golden reflections. Daniel and Lily stood beside the old pickup truck while the wealthy guests inside watched silently through the giant windows. Lily suddenly wrapped her arms around her father tightly. Tears filled her eyes as she whispered that her mother would have been proud of him. Daniel finally broke down. For years he had carried grief like a hidden wound, pretending strength for everyone around him. But hearing those words from his daughter shattered the walls around his heart. He hugged Lily tightly while tears rolled down his face beneath the clearing sky. Weeks later, Daniel used part of his fortune to create a housing foundation for struggling single parents who had nowhere else to go. He purchased old apartment buildings and transformed them into safe, affordable homes for families rebuilding their lives. Quietly, without media attention, he gave hundreds of people a second chance. And strangely enough, that humiliating afternoon inside the mansion became the turning point that changed countless lives forever. Before we finish, if this story touched your heart in any way, please like, comment, and share this video with someone who needs hope today. Stories like these remind us that kindness can heal wounds money never could. And now, a special request from Kindness Corner. Comment below with one word that describes what truly makes a person valuable in your eyes. Because in the end, people may forget what you wore, what car you drove, or how much money you had, but they will never forget how you made others feel.